Do you ever catch yourself telling yourself little white lies in order to justify your sewing decisions? If so, you are not alone. It will be a quick make, we tell ourselves, looking at a really complicated pattern, or I'll finish it later, as we throw it frustratingly into the whip pile. In truth, we all do it, don't we, in order to justify the decisions we're making. So in this video, I'm talking to you about 8 big sewing lies that we do, and how to break free from it as well. Stick around until the end to learn how to conquer those sewing demons and to sew garments that you actually love. Just very quickly, if we're just meeting, my name is Claire. I've been a dressmaker for 12 years. I've been on this channel for 6. I have a huge archive of videos for you to go through, learn and be entertained. I'm also on Instagram and Facebook under Penguin and Pear, so do follow along over there. So the first sewing lie we tell ourselves is, I will look good in that. So we go looking for patterns, we find patterns we love, and we might love them for various different reasons, but ultimately we think, I want to make that, without actually considering whether it suits our style. We're just fulfilling a need, a dopamine hit. If we make this thing that looks and feels great when we look at it, then it's going to do what we want it to do, but very rarely does. So the question is, how do we change this behavior, and how do we stop lying to ourselves? How do we make better decisions? Self-awareness is the first thing that we really need to hone. So some of you may not be self-aware, others may be really self-aware. It's a spectrum and very individual. I'd argue if you have more self-awareness, you're not going to be making this lie too often. Specifically within self-awareness, we need to understand our style, and that comes down to our preferences, what we like, what we don't like, what we feel comfortable in, what colours suit us, what our lifestyle is, all the things. I spoke about this in my capsule wardrobe video, so you can see that one for more information. But when we are aware of that, we can then be looking for patterns that fulfill that criteria, rather than just random patterns that we just think look good. And also, I really think assessing why we're drawn to what we're drawn is really going to help the process of getting better. So the next lie that we tell ourselves is, it will only take us an hour. Sure, it will only take us an hour. You see these patterns, don't you? Finish in 1 hour. I think they're on the big 4 patterns. And you're like, you're never finishing that in an hour. And it really depends on your capabilities and your experience and your skill. But ultimately, most of us are not finishing in an hour. But we tell ourselves that. It might be on the day of a big event in the morning. You're like, I've got nothing to wear. I'm going to make something. I've got all day. I can do it. It don't get finished, does it? And then you go panic buy into the shops at 3 p.m. Thing is, with all of these lies we're telling ourselves, it's not about beating ourselves up or putting ourselves down by acknowledging these. It's about recognizing them and changing the behavior so that we improve the sewing process. When you're looking at the process in terms of looking at something that'll say it only take an hour, and actually, like, if you're a really good sewer, you get no interruptions, you've got time to do it, your mind's not elsewhere, you're focused on what you're doing, perhaps you can do it in an hour. But how likely is that? We have to really account for interruptions and other things that are going to stop us, like mistakes. For this, I would say don't make any last minute sewing makes. That's a disaster waiting to happen. The faster you need to sew something, the more mistakes you're going to make and the longer it's going to take. Don't give yourself too short of a window to complete a project. Give yourself at least double the time that you think you're going to need. And you don't need to tell yourself you will finish it in an hour or you'll finish it very quickly, because it doesn't matter if it takes an hour or it takes a week. You're still going to have the same garment at the end of the day. So the next lie is, if I buy this fabric or pattern right now, I can download it, I can start working on it immediately. This is a decision, or a lie, should we say, that is not based in any kind of reality. It is a dopamine hit decision. You are searching on the internet, you see this gorgeous fabric, and you're like, I've got to have that. So you order it and you find a pattern, you download the pattern, you put the pattern together, and then the fabric arrives. but something happens, doesn't it? You're like, oh, I've got to go to work, so I can't sew right now, but I'll do it tonight. You get home tonight, you're exhausted, all sorts of things can go on. You might have to go visiting. Life gets in the way. And then before you know it, the dopamine is worn off. You're not that excited about the project anymore. And you've got this fabric, you've got this pattern, and it just never gets made. So I like to give a way of combating these lies to ourselves in each one. And for this, I would say, when you see some fabric or a pattern that you really want, give yourself 48 hours. Nothing is going to happen in those 48 hours. Put it in your cart by all means, but do not purchase for at least 48 hours. I would even argue a week. But at a minimum 48 hours. That's going to give you time for that dopamine hit to settle down, and then you'll be able to make a more measured decision. If you are enjoying this video so far, do consider purchasing a coffee for me. This is really, really helpful. I spoke in my last video about the fact that I am now taking driving lessons. I am a slow learner because I have chronic illness, and it's going to be a process for me to get to the end result. This means it's really expensive, so I'm saving up for my lessons as I go. All coffees that I've got for the past year and in the future until I pass my test will go into my driving fund. If you enjoy the content, you get value from it, and you have the means to do so, I would really, really appreciate a coffee. It doesn't have to be a coffee if that's not what you can afford, but commenting, subscribing, liking, sharing, all those things help the channel significantly. So let's get on to the next thing. Buying that gadget will make your life easier. Will it? Will it really? We've all been there, haven't we? We do this in order to justify buying stuff, because buying stuff makes us feel good. There's loads and loads of data out there about this, not just in sewing, but life in general. S-wide capitalism works as well as it does. We love to buy stuff. It makes us feel good. It excites us. So we tell ourselves that if I buy this sewing gadget, it is going to transform my sewing life. It's also a FOMO. Fear of missing out. Everyone else has the things, you want the things. I say, if you are a big spender, watch some of my past videos. I've done videos like 50 sewing tools that I no longer use, or my favourite sewing tools, etc. There's quite a few of those videos on my channel. Do watch them. And that will really give you a bit of a reality check from someone who's been sewing for many years as to whether you really need to spend this money. Lots of people have said I saved them lots of money because they were buying stuff and then they stopped after seeing my videos. I think the first thing to assess is really think about why you are wanting to purchase what you're wanting to purchase. Is it really going to improve your life, or is it just going to make you happier when you're sewing? Which is a justification. If you want to buy something because it makes you happier, go for it. I'm not here to stop you. But you got to have some self-awareness about why you're making these purchases. I'm really talking to the people here who want to save some money and not buy the stuff. There's plenty of people that want to just buy the stuff and they've got the money, and that's fine. But if you haven't, then possibly refraining and asking yourself, is what I've been doing up until now been working? If it has, there's no real need to buy the thing, is there? Is it a case of you've seen this gadget online, some other video content creator have shared it, and it looks amazing and it's marketed in a way that is going to improve your life? Is it really? Or are they just marketing it to sell it? Is it one of those gadgets that is going to end up in your cupboard, not being used for years, and then sent to the charity shop? There are gadgets out there that are wonderful, and they do improve our lives because they make the process easier, they make the process quicker, and less frustration as well. So I'm not against buying gadgets. I'm just against buying excess gadgets. Gadgets we don't really need, we just want, and so we buy it because it's a want. And I don't know about you, the more you purchase, the more clutter you have, and the more it clutters your mind. A few years ago, I went through a decluttering phase, and it was the best thing I did. I got rid of all the sewing tools that I just never use. The next big lie we tell ourselves, and this is a big one, is that I am my ready-to-wear size in sewing patterns. This is the biggest lie we tell ourselves in sewing, is it not? In clothes sewing, definitely. I've come across so many people in the beginning, and I was the same when I started. We get a pattern we love, we look at the sizing, and it says like we're a size 24 when we're like a 12 in ready to wear, and we get offended. Our ego is hurt by this, and we're like, I am not a size 24. But what you have to understand is that patterns are not made to ready to wear standards. And even within ready to wear, you can go in one shop and be one size and go in another shop in another size. And that's because there is no size standards across the board in the industry. And often you might notice over the years within shops that clothing sizes get lower and lower to make you think that you are slimmer, so you buy more, but you're not slimmer. They've just changed the parameters of what their sizing includes. And so when you come to sewing patterns, it's much the same. Different pattern companies will have different sizing. I have noticed there's been some sort of cohesion, some sort of unification of sizes in some of the bigger sewing pattern indie companies. But you've got to really, really release this idea of a size, a number, meaning something to do with your self-worth, something to do with your confidence. It's really got nothing to do with it. Frederick, what are you doing? When you're looking at sizing, I did do a video about this many years ago when I went through how to size yourself. And that's a really good video to watch, especially if you're plus size, because I was plus size at that time. But you want to look at the measurements, take your measurements, follow my video, take your measurements, write them down, know for certain what your measurements are. Then go to your pattern and look for the corresponding size. And don't worry about what size it says you are. You're sewing your own clothes. You don't have to tell anyone the size that you sew. Release those feelings and emotions around sizing, because it is not serving you. It's going to hold you back. You're going to choose smaller sizes. It's not going to fit you, and it's going to make you look bigger if that's what you're not going for. The correct size is going to look the most flattering on you. The next lie we tell ourselves, and I am very guilty of this one, is that we do not need to read the instructions. We do need to read the instructions. This doesn't really apply to beginners, but as you've made some garments, you've got more and more experience, you may have made a dress like 6 times. So when you go to make another dress, you're like, I don't need to read the instructions. I know what to do. The designer has created this garment, this template for you in a very specific way. They like to introduce new techniques, and they like to introduce new ways of sewing, and they have a very specific order of sewing that works best for the way that they've designed that garment. And when we're not reading the instructions, we can get that all out of whack, and it's going to make for a less professional garment. We may even forget how to do techniques, and then we'll be winging it and we don't know what we're doing. I personally think the very best thing that we can do is when we know we're going to sew a garment, we sit down and we read the instructions a day or 2 before, let it seep into the head, and then when we come to sew it, look at each step as you're doing it. And that means you're gonna have a much better experience. My cat is coming and going out of this room. It's driving me crazy. Want a stick? Give him a stick because he's driving me mad and I'm trying to film videos. And let's shut him up for 10 minutes. Oh, look, you're on camera, Fred. Say hello to the people. They're nice. They're delicious. Yeah, you like your sticks, don't you, eh? So also when we read the pattern book before we start sewing, then what we can do is we can analyse and assess the way that they're doing it and whether it works best for us. We have our own experience and our own skills. We know up to a point what to do. So once you've got that information from the designer about how they intended for it to be made, you can then make any adaptations that you feel are necessary. I just do 10 minutes as the next one. We've all been there, haven't we? We can't fit in sewing. We love to sew, love to sew. And we're just like, oh, I've got to leave to this appointment in 10 minutes. I'll just fit in 10 minutes of sewing. It might be that we don't have to leave, but we've got other things to do. Housework always gets left, doesn't it? So we're just fitting 10 minutes of sewing, but it's never 10 minutes, is it? Never 10 minutes. What happens is we start sewing and we get into it and the time just flies away. If you're procrastinating on something and you have to do it, just tell yourself you're going to do 10 minutes and stop, and you probably will finish the whole thing. As a way to conquer this lie that we're telling ourselves, set yourself a timer. If you really have only 10 minutes and then you've got to do something else, put a timer on your phone and an alarm will go off, and that will alert you. It won't stop you necessarily from doing more, but it will make you think about whether you want to continue or not. So this is another really big one, and this is one that frustrates me the most, is I'll finish it later. And we generally only tell ourselves that lie when we've completely lost interest in it. What usually happens is we are sewing the thing and we start to lose interest. You saw that happen with me when I was making the skirt. I started it gung-ho and then I was like, this is not going to suit me. I don't want to do it. But I persevered because I was doing it for video. But if I wasn't, it would have ended up in the whip pile, if I'm completely honest. Thing is, we're normally sewing and we're making mistakes and we're not doing it to the expectations that we have set for ourselves. And then we feel like a failure. We begin to lose interest in order to protect our own emotions. So if we are feeling like a failure and we keep going, it's just reinforcing that negative feeling that we have, and it doesn't feel good. So what we do is we tell ourselves, I'll finish it later, I'll do it later, whatever, and that protects us. That stops that negative feeling. We feel relief from that, and then it goes in the pile, but we then never go back to it, because every time we think about it, those negative feelings come back and we just have no motivation, no interest to continue. I think the answer to this is to firstly not put it in the whip pile. I do not think that if you are having those negative feelings as you're sewing, you're getting frustrated, you're making mistakes, I do not think you should persevere. I do think you should step away from your machine, give it a break. Whether you need 10 minutes or you need 24 hours, give it a break. Because firstly, you're going to come back refreshed, you're going to make less mistakes, you won't be as frustrated, and then you may actually be able to continue. Do what you need to do in order to enjoy the process. Remember your why. If you like this video, you are going to love my sewing myths video. That was done a few years ago, real hit with the viewers. So do check that out next, and I will catch you in the very next one. I will chat to you down below. Bye for now.